Today I'll be talking with you about how to have compassion for yourself as you struggle with body, weight, and exercise issues. This is actually a topic that was suggested by one of my viewers, so thank you so much. A lot of the principles I'm sharing will be helpful for any ongoing habit you're trying to change. For today, I'll just be addressing body, weight, and exercise issues. And after we're all done, if you feel like it's helpful and it would be nice for other people to hear about or to see, please share the page, this video from your page, or even send it to someone specific that you think would really benefit. Well, I'm not able to see who's on, so as you get on, if you'd like to say hi, just go ahead and say hello in the comment section below, and then I'll know that you're there. And I will try to comment if I'm able to see those. Okay. Well, most of us have struggled with accepting our bodies, feeling good enough for like years and years. And it isn't unusual to be disappointed in ourselves and our ability to establish healthy patterns of exercise and eating. And you know what? The truth is that sometimes we are our own worst critic. So eating healthy and exercising regularly is actually hard for most people. So if you're one of those, you're in the majority. And there's lots of reasons why that is. First of all, we are all so busy. And that affects what we eat and how we exercise. So often we eat things on the go, or we eat prepared foods that have high fat and high sugar. We're so busy that even if we have good intentions and even write it on our schedule to exercise, exercising falls by the wayside as we're just trying to live our lives. And preparing food that's healthy is also very difficult to do at times. Well, our society advertises unhealthy food and drink everywhere, while at the same time gives us messages that we are to be lean and fit, which is just crazy making. Those two don't go together. Well, emotional eating is very common to deal with. It's a way we all deal with stress and depression, anxiety, work problems, relationship problems, loneliness, etc. It's a quick fix in the moment, but then we're left with other problems as a result. And that in and of itself is depressing, right? Well, when we're under stress now, eating to soothe ourselves or to not feel will just happen automatically before you even realize you're doing it. You know, you're halfway through a bag of chips, or you're eating something you said you weren't going to eat, and then all of a sudden there you are. And often this is a habit that was developed early in life, probably often to cope with difficult times, and can also develop later in life as well, even if it was never a problem earlier, during great times of stress. So here's the thing. Everyone falls into automatic patterns to deal with emotional pain and stress. But some people's habits other people don't necessarily see. Maybe the people close to them do, but the general population doesn't. So for instance, sometimes people work too much. They read incessantly. They overly control people and situations in their lives. They over-exercise or do drugs or isolate from others or play video games nonstop or watch TV as their ways to cope with their own anxiety and stress and worry. But the difference is that when you're using emotional eating as your coping tool, often developed long ago, the result is actually there for the world to see. Okay, another reason why it's difficult is that we often haven't been taught how to eat healthy and exercise or practice self-care at all in our lives. So it's hard to change these everyday practices on our own. And then the big one. The reason it's hard to keep up exercise and eating healthy is that often the motivation to change comes from a negative place, and it's not sustainable. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you want to lose weight or exercise because you hate your body, you feel ashamed, you're doing so to try to somehow be acceptable to yourself or some other person, it won't work, because there's another part of you that just does not buy that. Another part of you, even if it's deep down, knows that you are of great worth and value, and that your worth, your value, and your acceptability should not be dependent upon what your body looks like. And you know what? That part of you is right. Because the truth is that you are of great worth and value, precious and acceptable the way that you are, period. That is true. And this important message is one that you will need to say over and over to yourself. And I will help, because we live in a society where shaming people and joking about people who are overweight or out of shape is socially acceptable and even encouraged. And, you know, in the old times, or prior times, there were all kinds of groups of people that was also socially acceptable to shame. And that's terrible. That should have never happened. But along the way, those have all been deemed unacceptable. But somehow, if you're overweight or you're out of shape, it's perfectly fine to shame those people. And I say all that so that you realize what you're up against, that these messages of shame are real in our society. They're not just perhaps coming from you. They're coming from society as a whole. And you and I are both affected by them. So, before I continue, I'd like to make a request. Please don't post weight loss suggestions or programs below, even if they've been helpful for you. And let me explain why. I want to keep this a safe place to talk about a way to be compassionate with yourself in this struggle, not to come up with solutions about what you're going to go do when you stop watching this. Why is that? Because, and this is important, okay? Because when we only focus on what eating program or exercise plan we're going to try, it actually takes us away from ourselves. It takes us away from learning to interact with ourselves in compassionate ways. And this is what I want to focus. Excuse me, a little sneezer. This is actually what I want to focus on today. I don't want us to go off on, okay, I'll try. I want us to keep the focus on having a good relationship with yourself, being a kind and compassionate friend to yourself in this struggle. Okay, that's super important. I'm going to take a look over here and just see. I haven't been looking at comments because I've been focused on talking with you. Yes, I can see Roberta's here, Mary's here, Vivian's here. Hello, it's so good to have you, and I know many more others that will join us, both now and on the replay. Well, the motivation to take care of ourselves needs to come from a different, positive place to be sustainable. That means to be able to continue day after day after day. There are many positive motivators for caring for yourself, and I'll list a few, but realize that your positive motivation is going to be your own. It's going to be specific to your life, to your needs, and that reflects you. So you don't have to adopt any of the ones I'm listing. But sometimes we're only aware of the ones that are harsh as a way to motivate, and it's really important to have a positive motivator. Okay, so some positive motivators: wanting to feel comfortable in your own body, wanting to feel comfortable in clothes, wanting to stay healthy as you look to the future so that you can avoid disease or conditions that have a higher probability if you're overweight or sedentary. Wanting to take care of the precious body that God gave you, not out of guilt, but out of worship and appreciation. Another one is caring for yourself as an act of love for yourself. Another one is wanting maybe perhaps to get back to activities you find hard to do now or are self-conscious doing, or wanting to care for yourself to make sure you can do the activities that you really love. I know, for instance, Mary's on a wonderful trip across the world. It's been so fun to watch Mary and, you know, wanting to be able to do those kinds of traveling and things that you want to do. Another is enjoying the feeling of being stronger, of being more mobile and more flexible. So these are just a few that I've thought of. And if you have other positive motivators that you've come up with, things that positively motivate you, not guilt, but positively motivate you, please write them in the comments below, no matter when you watch this, because we can all learn from that. Because the ones we usually hear are shame and guilt, and you're horrible and you're awful, and those are toxic and they don't work anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to share a personal story. The positive motivation that connected my heart with my welfare on how I eat and exercise. So about 8 years ago, my family was visiting our father-in-law who lived in Santa Barbara in a beautiful retirement center. And we were in line to go have lunch together. And they had this really nice dining hall. And so we were in line, and I looked to my right, and I'm telling you, no lie, there were at least 50 walkers all lined up for people who needed them because they were frail. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. You know what? This is going to be you in 20 years if you don't find a way to eat healthy and exercise. And I felt, not shame, I felt a strong sense of how I wanted to be healthy and mobile and flexible for as long as I could. I didn't want to fall and break my hip or things like that, you know? And it wasn't out of shame. It was like, wow, I want to strengthen my body and be flexible and not have to be one of the women on a walker if I don't have to. And so that was 8 years ago, and I began a regular exercise program that fit me, okay? And eating healthier, not perfect, but healthier. And the way I started actually was by taking vitamins and stretching, because I wasn't doing either, and that seemed like I could handle that. And then over time, I added some other things. Well, even now, even though I have this terrible lung disease, I actually still have the same goal, to stay as healthy as I can for as long as I can. So I try to eat healthy. I take supplements. I go to my pulmonary rehab gym 4 times a week. And even though my overall health has changed, my goal has not changed. And so I'm doing all that I can in the way that I can. So I want to help you be a good friend to yourself as you try different ways that work for you to eat healthier and to move your body. And I know this is very important to you, or you wouldn't even be watching. And as you know, you are absolutely not alone in this struggle. So this new way of relating to yourself, it's in stark contrast to the inner critic inside who shames and berates you, hoping that you will change. In contrast, though, you can develop a caring and kind relationship with yourself that focuses on understanding and being gentle with yourself when you eat too much, skip your morning walk, gain weight, and or just decide to just give up. And wouldn't it be nice to have a friend inside who could actually come alongside you at those vulnerable times and encourage you to live your life in healthy ways, yet at the same time gently remind you why you're even doing this, and what our resources are in Christ and the support of others. So the good news is it's really possible you can learn to be that friend to yourself. So you might have different reactions to that idea. You might think, that's great. Sign me up. I want to do that. Another party's like, yeah, there's no way. I can't be a friend to myself about something that I feel so ashamed about I can barely even talk about it. I'm not even going to sign in and say hello on this video because I don't want anyone to know that I'm watching, which is fine, right? We want to do things safely. And another part might say, yeah, it sounds good, but like, I have no idea. How on earth would I do that? Well, that's okay. That's why I'm talking to you, all right? So for now, we're not looking at the program you're going to go on or anything. I have no expectations. What I hope for you is that the focus is to entertain the thought of treating yourself with kindness and compassion. Wait, what? Treating myself with kindness and compassion when I eat a half gallon of ice cream? When I choose a dinner on the menu that has enough calories for the entire day? When I lie to my husband and tell him I went to the gym but I didn't? Yep, that's when you need it the most. You see, self-compassion means we can be kind to ourselves when we fail and treat ourselves with the kind and caring support that we would give to someone else who is struggling or learning or scared or confused, which is probably how you feel around this issue. So self-compassion is a balance of truth. Let's say saying, yes, I totally went off my eating plan big time, with grace. Even when I blow it, I'm of great worth and value. And you know what? I'm going to take a look at what was going on inside when I choose to eat poorly. So grace and truth together means you acknowledge your mistakes without making it nothing, like minimizing it, like, that's no big deal. Or making it more than it was, like, I'm a horrible person, I'm such a loser, I'll never get it right. We want to have grace and truth in a very balanced way. So, if you'd like to start talking with yourself with both truth and grace, you may not know where to start or what to say. And that's no problem because I do. So here are some ideas. And so as I say them, I'm wording them as if you're saying these to yourself, all right? So pay attention to the ones that make sense to you, that touch you. And you can discard the other ones, okay? So here they go. Get ready for some self-compassion. Although I don't understand it all, there are real reasons why I struggle to eat in healthy ways. The reasons I struggle are not because I don't care or because I'm lazy. The reality is that I've put a lot of time, effort, and money into losing weight or exercise or just trying to live a healthy lifestyle. The truth is that actually many people have a harder time losing weight and being disciplined than others. And you know what? It's tough being one of those people. Even if it doesn't feel natural to be kind to myself yet, I can be proud of myself for all the times I've tried and all the efforts I've put in. Every step matters. I know there are reasons I turn to food, valid reasons, like maybe needing to feel full on the inside and wanting to numb pain or loneliness that I'm feeling. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with wanting to find ways to feel loved and connected and not live in emotional pain. I just realized that I want to find ways that don't unintentionally hurt my body and soul in the process. With God's help and strength, I will continue to take small steps to eat healthier in the moment. I will celebrate each step, even if it's leaving one bite of dessert left on the plate. And I care about myself and the body that God's given me, and I have compassion for what a long and frustrating road this has been for me. At the same time, I have hope that as I get encouragement from God and supportive friends, and as I learn more about nutrition, as well as why I make poor choices at certain times, I will make strides one step at a time. I think the one piece that has been missing is being a kind and compassionate friend to myself. I know that sometimes I can be my worst enemy, and it doesn't have to be this way. I think I'll be kind to myself along my health journey, rather than beating myself up. It feels good to know that even if I'm not sure how just yet, I can learn to be my own compassionate best friend. So, see how that feels. How did that sink in? Was it, you'll have all different reactions, and it's okay. And you might need to watch this again and again and again to be able to hear it. Well, I hope what I've shared is encouraging to you and helps you treat yourself with compassion on this health journey that you're on. For more information, you can visit my website, which is kimfredrickson.com, KIMFREDRICKSON.com, and it'll tell you more. I have a blog that I write. I have a book called Give Yourself a Break, Turning Your Inner Critic into a Compassionate Friend, and I also have a CD on there with other self-compassionate statements you can say to yourself and exercises to help soothe yourself. And the reason for that is this, like most of us don't know how to do that, and it's normal that we don't, but there's help on the way. So it's been a pleasure to join you. I'm just going to say goodbye for now, and I would be happy to interact in the comments and share some other things with you. But thank you so much for being here. It's just been such a pleasure. And I hope to be on again next Friday at 1. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about yet. I'm still contemplating. If you have things that you would like me to talk about that are related to self-compassion, I would be happy to do so. And you can either put them in the comments below, or you can private message me. And please feel free to share this on your page or with someone that you know that you think could benefit. All right? So you take care, take good care of yourself, and have a good weekend. Thanks so much for joining me.